folks, welcome to What It Takes, a mini-series where I ask the same questions to elite coaches and they talk about what it takes to become an elite coach. I'm your host, Kevin Shaw, and today we are talking with six-star diamond and two-time elite coach, Megan Robison. Megan, welcome to What It Takes.
Thanks, Kev.
Yeah, Megan, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a mom to a 4-year-old girl and single mom at that. And I am a full-time coach. And my team is, I lead Team Fit Tribe Elite. We are a two-time elite team, like you said. And so really excited to be here and share with you guys what I feel it takes to be an elite coach and an elite team.
That's what it takes. We're excited to figure out what it takes to become an elite coach. All right, Megan, I'm diving into the questions. Number one, how were you introduced to Beachbody?
I actually was introduced to Beachbody through Lay's Mills programming because I used to do body pump way back in the day at a gym whenever I lived in Tampa, Florida. And I loved that program. So whenever I had my ex-fiance and I moved, and we lived in kind of remote locations in Michigan and in the Florida Keys. We'd go between those places, and we also had a place in Canada. So I had that workout, so I would do those workouts because they were portable. I could basically do them anywhere. And that's how I actually was first connected with Beachbody in any way, shape, or form. You
are unique. I think you're the first person I've talked to that says that Les Mills Pump is the program that got them started. That's awesome. You know, folks, whatever it takes to get started, that's what it is. All right. So, Megan, now that you're a coach, can you describe what those early days looked like for you?
Yes, I was a new mom, and I started when my daughter was postpartum just about 6 months. And I'll tell you, so there was little sleep involved when I was a new coach, just because of the situation and circumstance. I sleep a lot more now, but I did make a lot of what I consider short-term sacrifices. But now when I reflect back, I'm like, those sacrifices were great because they were not really doing anything productive for my life. And I'm talking about things like TV and like watching TV at night. I don't watch the news anyways because it's way too negative. Reading magazines that aren't like really beneficial to me in any way, shape, or form, such as like sometimes I used to look at those trashy magazines that have like celebrity talk and stuff. Like that was just a waste of time and energy. And you know, I can tell you I was really disorganized when I was a new coach because I was trying to get the whole grasp of motherhood and coaching at the same time. But I can tell you that there was a lot of thinking as if. I kept focusing on the future. And I think that was what led me to be very vulnerable as a new coach and not be so scared whenever fear was knocking on the door.
Interesting. I like that answer a lot. The what if, as well as making those short-term sacrifices. Looking back, you're right. Probably not big sacrifices like the ones you're making today, but you know, you have your lifestyle and you do have to make change to make things work. I really appreciate that answer. Great answer. All right. So what do you feel are some attributes or habits you have that contribute to your success?
I would say that one of my number one things that has really helped with my success and with my team's success is goal setting. And I know that's like such a simple answer, but man, clarity and vision of your goals and the big picture, not just, you know, short-term goals, but the long-term, what you really are working for. I think it's so key in this business. And it's not just about, you know, if you have big goals, you're going to have big results. So the more you can really clarify what your goals are and then reverse engineer, that's how they're going to happen. You know, when coaches come to me and they just give me this goal, I say, this is great. Let's, you know, especially if I see this like as a very tangible goal for them. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, well, what's your action plan? Like you have to have an action plan in place. Sometimes I think people forget that. They just put that goal out there thinking that it's just going to happen in time. And you have to be taking forward action to have that stuff happen. And I would also say belief. It has been huge in my business ever since the beginning. And it's not just belief in myself, because I'll be honest, I've had many times where I've been very, you know, my confidence wasn't always the greatest as a coach, but I feel like you have ebbs and flows, but the belief in the products, the belief in this company, the belief in my team. And when you have that belief and it's so rock solid, there's nothing that's going to get in your way. I really believe that. I really believe that as long as you have belief and you firmly, have that conviction, it literally can change the direction of your business. And
Yeah,
yeah.
I couldn't agree more with that. You have to have that belief, or else you're going around just selling stuff. We don't sell stuff. We change.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Stuff. We don't sell stuff.
Yeah, and I love your goal setting thing. It is such a simple answer because that's what everybody talks about. But if you really do what you say, success doesn't happen by chance. It happens because you made it happen and you put goals into place. And what I love is these goals. Along the path, you're probably going to be tweaking here and there, but as long as you have that, like you said, that goal at the end, it will happen. Great answer. Okay, next question. What advice do you have for a brand new coach who doesn't know where to start? What can they start doing today to achieve long-term success?
Well, I would definitely say the vital behaviors is what you need to do, and you need to take action. That's one of the things I always share my, what I feel are my big flaws, my mistakes I made as a new coach. One of the things I did is I sat back and I felt like I was a collector of information.
Mm-hmm.
And what I needed to be doing when I look back is I should have been taking action and going out there. And if you want to talk about long-term, you asked about long-term success, I'll be so honest with you. With a brand new coach, you're so excited, you have so much enthusiasm. Get out there and share why you're excited to be a coach, and why you started and what you're doing, because this is the time. I know it can seem like, oh my gosh, is she serious? But share the coaching opportunity. Share it now. There should be no reason not to, because I'll tell you, actually I did a call last night and I was talking about what the number one reason. It was about recruiting, and I was talking about the number one reason people don't get into network marketing is because someone never asked them. And the number one reason that, so I forget what the other one was. But anyways, that's besides the point, sorry. But the number one reason people don't get into it is because nobody invited them or asked them about it. And that's why they've never considered it. And so I can tell you, the more relationships you form, the more people you talk to, the more people you share with, that's going to bring in your first coach. That's going to bring in your first wins. And you're going to start building confidence right off the bat. That's what I really think you need to do. Share the coach up and be excited and proud and have that enthusiasm out there. Put it out there.
Yep. Even if you don't do it the right way, you just go do it. And then along the way, you will learn better ways to do it. And I talk about this with my coaches as well. Looking back at when you first started and how you invited and how, I'm sure you look back and you're almost like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that.
Oh, yeah.
Or I can't believe I said that to you, the brand new coach. But that's all right. You just go out and do, and you're not going to get better just sitting there. You're going to get better by getting out there and trying and getting uncomfortable and doing hard things. Great answer. Okay. What about the coach who is struggling or is thinking about giving up? What advice do you have for them?
Well, I think it really is a matter of, you have to go back and revisit your why. I always tell people you have a pageant why in this business, and then you have a real why. We're all here to help people change their lives. And my why gets more specific than that. I talk about how I want to help women realize they can bounce back postpartum and they can't pour from an empty cup. So that's my pageant why, that's the why, my Beachbody pageant why. But the real why, the why that goes deeper, it's a little more vulnerable, but it's greater than all of my fear.
Yes.
Any fear you could give me. And that's, related to my daughter. And then when it started, it was financial. And sometimes I felt like I questioned, I'm like, well, should it be financial? Is that being selfish? But it's not. And honestly, it's now evolved into, it's the freedom and flexibility the opportunity has given me and my daughter. And when you go back and revisit that why, I'm going to tell you, you need that why, because the real why is making that decision for what your success is going to be. It's not a matter of if it's going to get hard, because it will get hard. It's not a matter of if, it's when it will get hard. And if you don't have a strong vision and a strong why, you will quit. So you need to have that strong vision. I always tell my coaches that you have to be able to choose your hard. Yes, I know that juggling, caring for an infant and trying to run your business in mompox is hard. But you know what? I felt like for me, working night shift as a nurse and missing her milestones and paying for daycare for somebody else to raise my child and not being there when she woke up and went to bed, that for me was more, that was the other hard. And I chose the first hard.
Yeah, I can totally tell. I can tell you, I can feel it coming out of you. That's impressive. I really, really like that. Okay, last question here. What is the best advice you've received regarding your personal business?
I would say very simply, don't try to control the uncontrollable. Um, I feel that just so many people, you have to learn to accept what you cannot change. And if you can work on disciplining your will and your focus to change what you can, it's going to help you conquer and crush all of the obstacles that you're going to get that come through with your business, your personal life. When all those things come into play, it's going to be where you're turning those trials or those hard times. It's going to be like the fire that fuels your success, and make it so you can really push forward. Because if you're focusing on things you can't control, it's like you're spinning your wheels.
Yep, and we've all been there. We've all been there. Very motivational. Thank you, Megan. Very good stuff. All right, folks, now to the speed round. Megan, this is where I ask you rapid fire questions, looking for quick answers. On average, how much time do you spend working your business?
Oh, that's like so random. I don't even know. I feel like it's so much part of my lifestyle that it's like part of my life. That probably sounds so bad. People are like, oh my gosh, it's going to be my entire life. But Beachboy, I can really say it gives me life. It doesn't like run my life.
Wow.
So that's your answer for that.
I never received that answer. That was good. What is your average SC each month?
Well, I would say I do my minimum non-negotiable is SC10.
Okay. What percentage of time do you focus on your own business versus your team?
I would say it's about, I do a 40-40-20 split. When I say that, I do about 40% of my business, 40% of my team, and 20% on like the we. So there's like the me, the them, and the we. And the we is when I'm doing things that, are not only, for instance, if I create a webinar, I make it so it's duplicatable throughout the downline. So that's really helping not just my business, but also that's going to help them too. So I really feel that there's like that, it's not just one or the other, because you can be doing activities that are going to benefit everybody.
Very impressive. All right. And what leadership ladder rung are you at right now?
Team leader.
All right, guys, it's time for questions from a hat. Megan has no idea what question I'm going to ask. Here we go. Today's question, Megan, is, are you a morning or night person?
Oh, I'm totally a night person. I worked night shift in the ICU for 7 years as a night shift nurse. So when you work 12-hour nights, I think I was permanently scarred for life.
Not your morning Joe. All right, guys. Great content here. Megan, thank you so much for sharing great stuff on what it takes to become an elite coach and be successful. Thank you, Megan, for joining us on What It Takes.
Thanks for having me.